Hey guys, and welcome to a showdown between two ducks. We have myself, a Rubber Duck of War, in charge of Crack Kadrin, the mighty Slayer King himself, will be taken to the battlefield up against Poison Ducky and his undead forces, the Vampire Counts. And this is a really fun battle we recently had in Red Legion's Content Creators Tournament, where we had 4 content creators go toe-to-toe, and me and Poison Ducky ended up getting into the finals, and this was one of our best of 5 games. And I've gone for a pretty fun fire-themed Dawi build, which I think can actually be relatively competitive up against a Vampire Counts. Anyway, let's get into it. So in the front lines, we have the stalwart and always reliable Longbeards in their fantastic red and gold colour scheme. I'm a much bigger fan. I mean, I like the basic dwarf colour scheme as well, but this one just looks so goddamn badass. We also have the Warriors of Dragonfire Pass, which is our first fire-themed unit here, and they can be backed up by a Thane. And the reason I'm bringing a Thane, a character I don't often bring, is he has this awesome ability called Ironbeard's Ring, which gives a 22% weakness to fire damage to everyone in this nearby radius, or at least all enemies, which is particularly useful when the Warriors of Dragonfire Pass wield flaming axes, so do fire damage themselves, so it's a nice little combo you can do right there. More Longbeards as well, so a decent solid front line all round. In a secondary line, we do have 2 units of miners with blast and charges, and of course blast and charges do fire damage as well, so if I can get one over here, it will certainly do some decent work. And in the centre pocket, we have double Iron Drake. So Iron Drake Hammer Torpedoes is my normal go-to, but I wanted to try these flamethrowers out, especially with the kind of fire theme we have going on here. And the best thing these guys do is give the Discouragement, which is a burn, which is -8 leadership, and you'd think you won't. You know, Vampire Counts are unbreakable, they crumble instead of kind of running away and so the like, but it does make them crumble quicker, which is pretty damn important in the late game, and even if there's just one Iron Drake left and he clips a unit, it will apply that negative to their leadership. In the back here, we do have a mighty flame cannon as well, which once again gives that lovely minus to leadership right here, but this time -8. He does long range damage, and I'm basically binging this guy to try and take out Graveguard, who are going to be a big threat to my force. As you can see, I've got quite a lot to protect, so we've gone for triple Slayers, including the Dragonback Slayers, which are the regiment renowned, which once again do fire damage, so fire all around the field. We have a Runesmith down here as well, coming in Rune of Negation, Rune of Wrath and Ruin, as well as the Hammer ability, which I'm just such a huge fan of. I don't understand why more people don't use it. The Hammer of Crack Draws, -40 melee attack and 30% base weapon damage for 50 seconds on a unit or character is so powerful. And then we have Ungrim Iron Fist, that glorious Mohawk leading the forces into battle. So without further ado, let's have a little look at the Vampire Counts build here by Poison Ducky. I'll actually start playing as the game takes a little while to get going. Up in the skies, here's Alarmian Vampire Lord. She's going to be rocking it in with Seduction, which is such a good ability. Lightning Reflexes, as well as, of course, as Raised Dead and Invocation the Heck, which you expect. For his front line, he's gone for the ultimate meat bags on legs, the zombies. These guys here just to tire down the dwarfs and soak up any early missile pressure. So them dotted all along the front line, hidden in the trees here. He does have the Cane Wraiths. Now these guys do magic damage, so it's not the they're not going to do huge damage to the dwarfs, despite they have decent AP. At the same time, dwarfs do lack magic damage back, so they should be relatively okay. But yeah, decent unit all round. And I believe up in the sky we have double Fellbats as well, or triple Fellbats, just to harass my back line. Skeleton Warriors in a secondary line to back up the zombies, and there's been more chaff to slowly drag me down. Then hidden very wisely in the trees, we have triple Graveguard with great weapons. Now these guys are going to be the menace to any dwarf force. Fantastic AP, can go toe-to-toe with those elite Dawi warriors. We have a Corpse Cart as well with an Unholy Lodestone here, hiding in the forests. And dotted just a little further back here, we do have a Vargulf, who, luckily for me, does come in with 25% weakness to fire damage, which is glorious stuff, as well as the Black Coach as well, which does do magic damage. However, it gets more and more powerful the further time goes on, and also has huge mass to kind of push through dwarf forces, so it's a very good pick. We get some nice flaming shots up at the Vampire Lord. Now these guys actually do surprisingly decent damage up against these type of troops. And you can see my flame cannon has unleashed some shots now into Skeleton Warriors, doing some very decent damage. Glorious breath attack coming down the line there onto these Iron Drakes, however, getting them down to half health, but luckily 17 models do survive. Some Skeleton Warriors are summoned, but the Dragonback Slayers will be able to chew through them very quickly with the help of these miners with blasting charges, and the flame cannon can still fire unimpeded, luckily. And doing some pretty decent shots so far into the Skeleton Warriors, roasting those guys as the flamethrowers do burst into life here, trying to chew down at my opponent. So the front line has begun here. Zombies obviously going to be losing, but just there to tie my troops down. As the Black Coach is going to ride dirty all through my glorious Warriors of Dragonfire Pass and push its way through. And the Vampire Lord as well dives in the back line on top of these Iron Drakes, doing some decent damage. We are going to counter charge in a second here with the Slayers and tie down these units overall. Now in the centre pocket, this Varghulf has got far too overextended. Rune of Wrath and Ruin has been popped down. It looks like it's going after the Runesmith with a Rune of Negation active and Ungrim nearby. We certainly gave that Varghulf a walloping, and it's going to be running back, but again a nice heal as well and Invocation the Heck. So battle lines are well and truly crossed now. We see we've managed to keep the centre pocket relatively healthy for now. Cane Wraiths are starting to flood into the back line, however, so Dragonback Slayers are going to launch their way over there to try and deal with those guys as much as possible. The Black Coaches are struggling a little bit here as well, surrounded by Warriors at Dragonfire Pass. It's certainly taken a bit of a beat, and the Thane is nearby as well, so it's giving them that weakness to fire damage. And yeah, these guys are starting to chew through him pretty damn effectively. The Thane's going to be coming in and going for some nice karate chops as well, trying to pull it down. It's been left in here a little bit too long. Longbeards are here as well, pinning it in, and it's really starting to struggle and take quite a walloping. Flame Cannon continue to shoot, now aiming into Graveguard. So you can see the reserve has come in, and this is a very common Vampire Count's tactic of kind of trickling your troops and trying to win the attrition game. So 2 Graveguard units do reach unimpeded, but the 3rd unit is taking huge damage, below half health, before the front lines have really engaged there for them. And the Flame Cannon up to 153 kills, launches in some shots, and straight up to 170, doing some glorious work all round. Now some of the Iron Drakes are starting to fall back here, but we have managed to pin in this Black Coach. A Rune of Wrath and Ruin has gone down, and Slayer's completely surrounded. There's just no way Ibn's going to be able to escape here. Cane Wraiths are being a bit of a menace in the back lines, however. Warriors of Dragonfire Pass going to be coming in to try and pin these guys in as much as possible. And with the Thane fighting nearby, they get that weakness to fire, and these guys will help drag them down. Miners are going to start pushing up now where possible, and as you notice, I haven't actually used my blasting charges yet. Wanted to save them for a little bit later in this battle, and now we're going to be launching them and just trying to help these Iron Drakes out who do have a resistance to fire, so it's not too bad me throwing on top of my own troops. And we're just going to absolutely decimate some Fellbats for free, which isn't too bad, and hopefully free these guys up. Likewise, we can pull back more miners from the front line engagement, turn around and start launching them into this losing engagement front line. Longbeards simply cannot hold up to the Graveguard. So here we go, huge blast. Some of it is a little bit of friendly fire, but the damage on the Graveguard is certainly worth it at this point in the game. Flame Cannon is still somehow active, launching shots into the Graveguard once again. A beautiful breath attack though does come down the line and tear through a ton of Dwarf Warriors, unfortunately for myself. But the Warriors of Dragonfire Pass are loyal folk, and they're going to hold their ground. You see we've got some Iron Drakes rallying on the right hand side, and as previously stated, there's only 4 of these guys left. They're not going to do huge amounts of damage, but they will give that extra kind of quickness to the crumbling by giving that negative leadership. Varghulf does try to pop into the back lines, but Ungrim is nearby, so he's going to be trotting over there if possible, trying to force his way through some destroyed flame cannons here. Rune of Negation has been popped as well, and the Slayer King is on a trek here, leading his mighty Slayers into glorious combat. And with a gigantic axe wielded, he comes in there for an overhanded 2-armed axe swing. Doesn't get pushed to the ground though. The Varghulf does run away in terror of the fearsome dwarf. He's going to be trying to chase him around, and that is one of the problems of Ungrim. He is a fantastic fighter. Of course, he is a dwarf, so he's relatively slow. More Iron Drakes are now being picked upon, as looks like Poison Ducky has had enough at this point of these goddamn Fire Dwarfs. So I do drop down the Hammer of Krak-Drazar on top of the Varghulf. He's not going to be doing too much damage at all, to be honest, and I can try and drag him into the main melee blob. But very wisely, he's just going to fall back. There's another cast Invocation Heck as well, trying to keep these units fighting. Back come the Iron Drakes as well, going to be launching some shots into this unit of Graveguard here, and as you can see their leadership is getting dangerously low. They will start crumbling soon, which is perfect for me. You can see this unit here already is. At the same time, trying to keep his Lord honest as well, and just fight fire with fire here, and try to peel the flesh off that undead dragon with scorching basically. Fortunately, Flame Cannon is going down here to the mighty Varghulf, but at the same time 225 kills is pretty ridiculous stuff, and they managed to gain a chevron. Really helps out massively at dealing with these Graveguard. But we are getting a little bit surrounded here. It is kind of all hands on decks. The Flame Cannon crew is in glorious combat. Iron Drakes as well are just trying to ignore this Cane Wraith as it does start to disappear, and launch some more shots into the Varghulf, just trying to bring it down. Any damage kind of helps there, but unfortunately for them, this Vampire Lord is going to be coming in here and just saying hello, which isn't too good for them, unfortunately. But Longbeard's going to be running, led by the Thane here, into glorious combat onto the Vampire Lord. Where is Ungrim? Looks like he's fighting in the front lines. My hero core is a little bit spread out here. Lovely cast of seduction as well, catching the majority of my army, so not going to be doing too much damage here. But yeah, relatively spread out hero corps. I'm starting to pull them back together as well. I want the Thane and the Runesmith and Ungrim all quite close together, because what he has left on the battlefield, I think he'll quite struggle to bring down that hero core as long as they stick together. I do drop another Rune of Negation, one of my favourite runes actually. It's so goddamn powerful, 22% damage resistance to my entire force at this point. Iron Drakes once again launching fire into some Graveguard and trying their best to help out their Iron Drake brethren here. But it's going pretty well. Balance Power is still dead even at this point, and there is still a big horrifying dragon and Vargulf on the field. The Corpse Cart has finally come into combat. At this point, my priority actually isn't really the Lord or the Vargulf for anything. It's the remaining kind of chaff and Graveguard, sorry. And this Corpse Cart, I need to get these guys off the field as quickly as possible, as we are playing under banner rules. So when you get down just to single entity monsters like this Vargulf and Vampire Lord, they have to stay in combat. The only point I can lose this game from now on is with effective cycle charging by the Vampire Lord, taking out my characters and the like. So if I can finish off these Graveguard, then I should be in pretty good shape. Some of the miners are running for the hills here. They are terrified, and we do have some more Dwarfs, Longbeards on the periphery. So these Iron Drakes should probably come back as well. There's 6 models of those guys. And some of the Dwarfs are terrified and running for the hills here. But of course, Ungrim is unbreakable. And we get some nice close-ups here as he does smack the tail of that Vampire Lord, who does have lightning reflexes active. But Ungrim is particularly fast, even for a Dwarf. He's going to be coming in here and making that Vampire Lord think about diving in. Lovely summon of zombies by my opponent here. Popping them in, going to allow his Vampire Lord to get back up in the sky, hunt down my units on the periphery, maybe get 1 or 2 breath attacks, and do decent cycle charging as well with both himself and the Vargulf. But there are so many Dwarfs left active at this point. Ungrim going toe-to-toe with that Vargulf as well is a matchup he would certainly love to have here. Roasting in fire, glorious shot there. Ungrim doesn't care, he's here to drag down some Vargulf. Doesn't care if it's meat or burnt meat, he's all about it. Another Rune of Negation has been popped down just to keep all my Dwarfs nice and healthy, while starting to roast the Vampire Lord, and Ungrim does slay the Vargulf there before turning his sights onto this Vampire Lord and running in there. Ton of Slayers and all these good Runesmiths, more fire as well, so it turns out you can fight fire with fire. But very well played to Poison Ducky. The entire best of 5 we played, every single game was ridiculously close. Some really awesome games all round, and I'll sure to put some more up on the channel, and obviously see if he wants to put some on his channel as well and all that kind of good stuff, so I'll sort that out with him. But you should see more Poison Ducky on the channel very soon. But yeah, super fun builds. I'm a big fan of his build actually as well, kind of slow rolling the game, moving in the zombies, then the skeletons, then the Graveguard, and hoping that they can kind of get him without taking too much damage. And as you can see, despite the fact they took a lot of damage from the Flame Cannon, particularly this unit, still decent kills across the board. But that Flame Cannon really came in MVP for me there. 225 kills, cleared out the chaff very quickly, which allowed me then in the late game to kind of pin in his big monsters and make him commit them early on. And at the same time, it dragged down those Graveguard who could have helped clear out my Longbeards and the like. But yeah, really fun kind of fire-themed build, which I think, it is not memey at all, because it is very powerful, but it's normally doesn't really pay off. But I think up against Vampire Counts is one of the factions where it can work really, really well, and that is simply due to the fact they don't have any range, so the Flame Cannon can actually get value, as well as Iron Drakes and the like. Anyway guys, I hope you did enjoy. If you did, please feel free to subscribe and like the video. Feel free to comment as well. I do read them all. I'm very slow at replying. I tend to kind of do it once a week, so don't worry if I have not replied to your comment. I will do. I just kind of do it all in one go. So yeah. If you want to support the channel in any other way, I do have links to Patreons and donations and all that kind of stuff down below. And Poison Ducky, of course, is a YouTuber as well as everyone who was in the Content Creators Tournament, which is over on Red Legion's channel. So make sure to check those guys out. Anyway, until next time, peace, and as always, stay awesome.